Welcome back, everybody, to another episode of the Culture Crooks podcast. Me and the homie Sasha Guilo right here. We promised y'all we was going to bring on more guests, and who better to have than a good friend of ours, the Action Man, Chris Curtis.
What's up? What's up?
What's up, man? Thanks for coming on the show.
Fresh off of his main event with Brendan Allen a couple weeks ago, the number 15 ranked middleweight in the UFC.
Am I 15 now? I thought it was. God damn it! I moved
rechecked
down.
I rechecked.
I moved down. God damn! I didn't even. Are you
14,
serious?
right?
I was. God damn it! This is fucking bullshit. Like, oh my god.
Yeah,
the,
I checked
the
it.
rankings are nice.
Oh my god. Yeah, fuck it.
The rankings are nice, but they're kind of bullshit.
Doesn't even matter. I'm like, who moved up? Like, fuck these people. Oh my god.
But so yeah, let's get fresh off the bat. How I know you've been talking a little bit on social media about obviously your reaction after the fight. You know, both us big fans of you and the fight.
Controversial fight, man.
Very controversial, man. I had you up clearly, and I'm not even trying to be biased, and then obviously that's the homie, but I had him up 4-1. If anything, it was 2-2 going in the fifth, and he won 4 minutes and 45 seconds of that round.
Yeah, fuck, right? Like, bro, like I've watched it like 10 times. I'm hard on myself. I had it 2-2 going into the last round, and I thought I won like most of the last round besides 15 seconds. And then like he throws a flurry. Didn't even get hurt. Nothing landed, but I'm just I fucking tore my hamstring. And I think I won him to fight. That fucking sucks. Because now I'm like, I'm fucking 15. Like, yeah, I'm ranked 15 now. So somehow I dropped lower. It's like, fuck, I should be like top 10, like maybe 6, and now I'm fucking 15. So, yeah, what a fucking weekend.
So let the people know how did this situation come about with Brendan Allen, because he was originally supposed to fight Marvin Vettori, right?
Yeah.
So what happened? Marvin Vettori pulled out injury, I guess.
Yeah, he's supposed to fight angry Marvin Vettori. Marvin like shredded his shoulder. Marvin fucked his shoulder up pretty bad, but he's recovering now. And then so I'm just out and about. We were actually in talks to fight Ikram, I think, maybe.
Okay.
And so we were talking about that. They were negotiating that. And then was fucked up. He was like, hey, Brendan Allen. They're like, Marvin pulled out. And I was like, oh, that's funny. I'll fight Brendan again.
And how many days was that?
Oh, God, it was like 2.5 weeks. Like, not even 20 days. No, it was probably about 16 days, yeah.
And what was your weight when you found out?
Man, so I usually walk around pretty light for 85, but we've been like, our goal was like, okay, we're gonna lift a shit ton between fights,
strong.
Get to 210. Like our goal was get to 210. I think I was at 208. You know, you're lifting, you're not really doing cardio. He's training, he's not doing cardio. We're just trying to get fucking big, right? So I was like 208 when they called me, and I was like 2 weeks. I was like, I can do that. Yeah, it's not too bad. Yeah. But like the issue was, man, like I hadn't really done cardio since I fought Burial. It was just lifting. So we're like, all right, like, can we get
fully
like,
focused?
Yeah,
Yeah,
I remember actually the next day you came into the gym, fucking blazing. You know, as soon as you got the word.
Oh,
yeah,
dude, I was fucking psyched. But I'm just like, all right. So the fun part was like, okay, you got 2 weeks, because like 2.5 weeks, but it's like a week and a half, because like you can't really do shit on fight week. So I got a week and a half to get ready for 5 rounds, right? So I was like, okay, I can do that. I'm in shape. I'm always training anyway. I'm fine. Like, it's not too hard. But the fucked up part was that first week, that Monday, I pressed really fucking hard just to like push myself. Monday, Tuesday, I pressed so fucking hard. I wake up Wednesday morning. I've got fucking like, I can't breathe. I'm congested. I woke up. It was Wednesday morning. I woke up and I couldn't open my right eye. And I'm like, what the fuck's going on, bro? So I get up and go to the fucking mirror, and it's just like, my sinuses were so infected that like apparently I didn't fucking know. I've never had allergies. I didn't know mucus could fucking come out your eyes.
Holy shit!
So you're dead when your sinuses are that back to get that infected. Your tear ducts block, so mucus will come out of your eyes. Yeah.
Holy fuck!
I woke up, my eye was just fucking like mucus over. I couldn't see anything. Ended up, I had a really bad sinus infection. So for like 2 or 3 days, I just can't breathe. I'm training. I'm dying in practice. I feel like hell. So finally, like my headache gets to the point to where like I call my manager. I'm like, okay, I have my Lance. Like, I am in a lot of pain right now. Like, I'm gonna try to gut it out for 1 more day. If it doesn't get better, I'm gonna go get a fucking prescription. Like, you know, whatever.
Antibiotics.
Yeah, right. So I go, and next day I wake up. It's even worse. So I'm like, all right, I'm gonna go, just get some. Go to the pharmacy, get some like whatever the shit that is they give you. I was like, oh, I should feel better. I go and get it. Right before I take it, my mom calls me. My mom's a doctor. My mom's a nurse. So she, I'm telling her about it, and she's like, you should call and see if you can take that. I'm like, it's nose spray, whatever.
Oh.
So I call Lance just to be sure. Lance calls you, they fucking USADA people. And they're like, no, you can't take that. Really? I'm like, yeah, apparently it's got like it's got a steroid in it.
Uh-huh.
I'm like, it's nose spray. I have a sinus infection. They're like, no, you can't take that, but you can take Claritin. I'm like, what the fuck am I gonna do with Claritin? Yeah. Like, bro, I'm like,
some heavy duty shit.
I shit you not. It was so bad. I'm at the store, right? I'm at Smith's. It's like 8 o'clock at night, and it's been like going on for like days now. Like, it shit hurts so bad. And after right after I got the call, I talked to the people from the drug company. They're like, no, you can't take it. I remember I sat down and I have like tears in my eyes. My fucking head hurts so bad. So I'm sitting down the aisle at the pharmacy for like 20 minutes because I'm like, I can't drive right now because it hurts so bad. And like I just sat there, it's like fucking tears in my eyes, like a little bitch in the middle of a store. But I'm like, bro, like I had to just sit down, put my head down, and just fucking hold my head for 15, 20 minutes because I couldn't drive. It hurt so bad. So yeah, bro, I was dying. It was bad. It was really bad. So finally, I talked to my manager, and like Lance is like, we really, because like when I fought Burial, I got really sick before that, the week of the fight week. And they were worried about that. I was like, I'm fine, I can get through it. On this one, I'm talking to my manager. I'm like, bro, I don't think I can fight. Like, this isn't going away. Yeah, it's not getting any better. So they were like, they were talking about pulling me. They're like, bro, this is like bad. I was like, Lance is like, I've never seen this. I fought with broken bones and shit, whatever. He's just like, this isn't okay, guys. So I tough it out for 2 more days, and it starts to clear up. And I'm like, thank God. So I had that last like week of training. That's like last week I was going wild that last week. Like, yeah. I mean, ever since they announced it, I'm running every day, like 3-4 miles a day. Sinus infection, like outside, just like running, hauling ass, doing S&C.
Have you always been a runner?
Yeah, it's just from boxing, man. It's from like it's from like, it's
I
just
run a lot, bro.
I hate running.
It's kind of been instilled in me. It's like a rule. If you in boxing, like you have to.
Yeah, you. So in boxing, you don't skip your road work. Like if you like, there's a lot of shit you can like. People will fuck around in the bag and everything, whatever. That's fine. You don't skip road work. It's just one of those things to where the people that skip road work are the lazy fucks who lose fights. It's known, right? Like you know who's not doing their road work. Mm-hmm. So I've always done. I hate running. I absolutely hate it. It's my least favorite thing in the world. But I always run. Like I run every camp. And so even I'm out here dying. I'm running, doing everything, training like 6-7 hours a day. And that last week, man, as soon as I felt better, I hauled ass. And like I felt good. I was trying to kill people in practice. I'm like, fuck it, man, let's go fight.
I was there.
And you were able.
I was there. My dude, like a couple days before the fight, I'm like, yo, kick him in the leg, dog. He was out there chewing everybody's leg up. He had me limping. Michelle Pereira too was out there with a bad leg.
And then I go out there and I throw like 2 leg kicks in time.
Oh man,
I was so mad at myself in high school.
You throw super hard low.
But I didn't land it. I gotta learn to trust myself more. I'm such an idiot. Like I should just kicked him.
But so you're able to recover without having to take anything. Claritin, that's it?
Yeah, I had Claritin, which didn't help. So like that night, I drank like half a bottle of NyQuil, and I was like, all right, well, and like, dude, I showed you. I had the picture. You see the group chat? I got a picture, like one where every day I'm waking up and like fucking clearing my nose, and it's just like brown mucus and blood. And like it's like there's like a lot of fucking blood. So I'm like, I take a half bottle of NyQuil, and I tell my girl, I'm like, all right. So this is either a really bad sinus infection or a brain aneurysm. Like if I don't wake up, it was the brain aneurysm. I died in my sleep. It's fine. I was leaking so much. Like
and
I just blow my.
Experienced that.
Dude, I've never had allergies, so I think it's like a combination of getting old and then Vegas. Like shit changes, right? Because like
the weather's been weird. One day it's hot, one day it's cold.
Dude, I've never, and I was just bleeding.
They
like
be doing
liters.
shit to the weather. I don't know what be happening, dog.
It's a conspiracy, man.
You know what? Whatever chemtrails,
yes.
Like, hey, go back to the old ones. Like, bro, this new shit is working. This new shit's not cool, man. I'm dying.
For real, but no. So see, that's another thing, guys, that you guys definitely don't get to see. Is a lot of fighters, don't go through rosy camps. No. You know what I mean? Like
never
actually.
It's hardly ever.
It's rare.
If you get to a camp at 70%, you're like, all right, cool.
I'm feeling amazing.
I feel great.
Yeah.
Everybody's like, oh, why did you say the camp was great? Like, who doesn't? What are you gonna say? How was camp? It was really bad. Everything went wrong.
I injured every part of my body. Like I'm going to this fight at 30%, but I'm doing it. How was
camp? Like, it was great. Camp was great. I feel great. Like,
it's every fighter says that.
Yeah.
I don't think I've ever seen anyone.
I always always love that. People are like, why would he say camp was good? What the fuck else am I gonna say? Like, what am I gonna tell you?
Facts. And then yeah, obviously, in my opinion, I thought obviously now with the backstory of how it was leading into the fight, you performed amazingly.
On short notice.
And it was 5 rounds. Yes.
I surprised myself on that one. I was like, oh man, like I am holding.
But there's one thing I've always, since I've known you over 4 years now. You've always been a consistent hard worker. Like you've never really taken
a great team member, dog. I've been noticing.
You always out to help people,
you're there injured and shit, coaching and shit. And
as far as like being a teammate, like what else am I gonna do? Like I've got like. So guys, I'm telling you this. Like I don't really have like a life outside of training at this point. It's all I've done for 20 like. I've been a full-time fighter for like 16 years now.
Yeah,
so I don't really have, like, what do I do? Yeah, what do I do? So I've got to be there. But like, as far as being in shape, like a hard worker, like I have to be. Like so I've always told people, guys, like I've never been talented, naturally good at things. Like talent's not really a thing I was ever blessed with. So I can't. I'm not just like there's some people, man. Like this kid I came up under, Victor O'Donnell. Still this day, he doesn't fight anymore. He did Ultimate Fighter. He fought Bellator for a bit, but this dude to this day is still the best guy I've ever seen. Like hands down, he's just better at you. Like Victor would see something, like you show Victor a move, and he's like, okay, like this is a move I have now. It doesn't matter, jiu-jitsu, wrestling, stand up. He was just better than you. But also, like I learned early on, like I'm just not gonna be better than Victor. I can't. Like Victor's always gonna be a more skillful guy than me. So I just worked really fucking hard. 'Cause I sucked bad when I started, guys. That was really bad. So I was like, if I can't catch up to you with skill, I'm just gonna be able to outlast you and work harder than you. And apparently, I made a career out of that. So like, that's a thing. Yeah.
You know, I'm kind of in the same boat as you, man. Because I started late. I started at 25. You know, and I had always had this mentality is like, I had to work twice as hard as the people who have been doing it since they were younger. You know, I've always felt like I always had to catch up. So I always like was doing extra shit. And I always
start MMA or boxing at 25.
MMA, bro.
Okay, I was gonna say, how long you been boxing?
You know what? I had a little bit of boxing training prior to that, but I didn't really. Well, I was never really consistent. You know? I was just like a ton of street fighting experience. You know, but when I got into it, I just fell in love with it, and it's just been like you. I don't really do shit outside of, you know, MMA. Everything I do revolves around MMA.
Guys, let me tell you something right now. Like, you guys think we're joking, but like, I fought the 6th, so 2 weeks ago from we're filming this. This is the first time I've worn real pants. I just haven't left. I've gone to the PI for physical therapy and like nowhere else. Like I haven't left my house in like 2 weeks. I go to the gym. I've worn sweatpants. I haven't worn non-sweatpants in 2 weeks.
Yeah,
like, we really don't. It's not the glamorous life you think of for 95% of us. Like you know.
Yeah, it's true. You know, but so tell us your kind of upbringing. Where did Chris Kurtz grow up? And how did you get into?
From Vegas? Are you
I'm
from Vegas?
Ohio. Yeah.
From Ohio?
Okay, yeah. Okay. So I'm from Cincinnati. I was born and raised in Cincinnati. I was raised in Forest Park, which is actually like a suburb of Cincy. It's nice. It's a nice area. But like once I got a little bit older, I moved out. I moved out pretty young because like me and my mom didn't get along at all. So I was in like Clifton, over the Rhine, like downtown, like so like kind of got to the shittier versions of Cincinnati. And then once I moved out on my own, finally, like you know, I live in North Side, Mount Healthy, College Hill, but not terrible places, but like shittier places. And Clifton was like shitty, and whatnot. Over the Rhine was shitty. But yeah, man, like so, people always laugh because like I get along with Sean so well. Like Sean had like a super traumatic life. Mine wasn't nearly as traumatic. It was just like mine was more just like what the fuck's going on here. Yeah, my childhood was just what like people just look. I look back at it like what the fuck happened? Like why did we make these choices? But nah, man, like I don't have anything tragic or cool. I just fucking like to fight.
What got you into MMA? What got you into MMA?
How old were you?
So MMA, I started MMA when I was. My oldest is. 16. So when I was 19 or 20, I think I just turned 20. I started MMA. Dude, I was fucking. I boxed when I started boxing. I was 12, on and off since I was 12. I loved it. I did like Taekwondo and karate before that. I've always liked fighting people. I've always enjoyed fighting. I fought everybody in school. I actually started learning to box because this kid, that was in 7th grade. So there's this chick I had a crush on, kind of. And I don't even know what happened, but me and this other kid, Raphael failed 8th grade like 3 times. Dude was like 16. Right?
I failed 8th grade once. Just one stuff.
Hey, Raphael was like 16. He was way too fucking old to be in middle school. So I got to fight Raphael, and he kicked my ass. So, you know, I was a proud kid. I'm fucking hard-headed. So I tried to fight Raphael like every day for like the rest of the year.
Had beef.
And bro, it was like probably once a week. We fought once a week for the rest of the year.
If you whoop my ass, we got beef.
So the first like 4 times we fought, people would show up, everything. It got so regular, like every week, that people stopped showing up. And I'm just getting beat up by Raphael. And like, finally I just quit. I'm just like, bro, I give up. Like, I'm over it. Like, what am I doing wrong? He's like, that karate bullshit don't work. Like, you gotta learn to box. I was like, deal. I'm going to boxing. And there it was. Like, yeah. But not MMA, man. I love to fight. I street fought way more than I should in my early 20s, like 19, like teenager. And my first real boss, Zach Whittle, big white guy from New Orleans, most gangster white dude you ever meet. He was like, hey, you're gonna get shot. He used to box and he was younger, so he found a gym, Spears Gym, that was down the street from I worked at a game store. So we went up there. I started, didn't have boxing that day, but MMA. Started doing that, and I was like, fuck it, I'll do this. I just kept going back, and like that was my first experience in fighting. It just never stopped.
You just loved it, fell in love with it?
I loved it. I ended up meeting some guys from different gyms. My first gym was Vision MMA, for real. My first like solid gym. I met guys from there. They invited me over. I went over with this kid, Josh, and they hated Josh because Josh was an asshole. So they beat Josh up. And he was the one that brought me over. So they're like, oh, you're his friend. So they tried to kick my ass. I found out later. They're like, we tried to make you quit for 2 years. I was going home with concussions. Like, this is back in the day, guys. So like we didn't have training gloves. We would spar with 4-ounce gloves and no shin pads, like full contact. Like that's just every day. There was no jiu-jitsu class. There was no you sparred and that was training. Yeah,
you just went and fought.
They tried to make me quit for like 2 years, and like later they're like, yeah, you just kept coming back. And but that's how I started, man. It was a much different time, but like.
And that was in Cincinnati.
Yeah, that was Cincinnati. Yeah, that was a much different time. Yeah.
And then going down that road and path, how did it lead you to Vegas? And why Vegas?
I ended up here because I was training I've been like trained everywhere, but before I got to Vegas, I was actually at Team Quest in Temecula.
Okay.
Hendo's.
Is that how you met Sean?
Yeah. I actually met Sean at Hendo's place. So
very cool.
My first like actual like meaningful pro belt was a CES MMA belt. I got a title fight for them, a challenge. So I was like, okay, I need to go somewhere to get prepared for this. I fought Tom Glicchio, a guy from Ultimate Fighter, really good jiu-jitsu guy, really good jiu-jitsu guy. I fought him years before, and he was like it was like my 5th fight and his like 31st. So I lost that fight in the 3rd round, but Tom's a really cool dude. So I was asking about somewhere to go. He's like, come to California. So I was like, okay. So I talked to him. He's like, you'll stay with Sam Alvey. Had no idea who Sam Alvey was. Sam Alvey messages me like, hey, yeah, sure, come visit my house. So I fly out of California. I live with Sam Alvey.
That's awesome.
I'm training there. My first week there is like in the middle of winter. And like I'm at Dan Henderson's Christmas party at his house. And I'm just like, this is really fucking weird. Like I'm just at Dan Henderson's Christmas party. Yeah, it's really fucking weird. So I ended up living with Sam for like 4 years. Like 4 or 5 years, yeah. So I lived with him and his family, which is like the funniest time of my life. Like fucking wild, bro.
That's
like,
so cool.
That dude's like Sam Alvey lives the most hilarious life you'll ever see. Just like
he has a lot of kids, doesn't he?
He's got like 7 kids now. When I was there, there was 2. Then his 3rd was on the way, and now he's up to like 7. But like, he married a supermodel.
Yeah.
Yeah, as Brits, she won America's Top Model. But Sam's life is just like a TV show. That shit's wild. So I was a part of that for like 4 or 5 years. It was great. And then I went on Contenders. I won Contenders, got fucked over.
Yeah, you won with that really sick ass hook kick. Right?
Yeah, right. Yeah.
Post that.
I throw like one kick ever, and it was like a highlight.
Yeah, knockout hook kick.
Yeah, it was there.
In the 3rd round, I remember watching. I didn't know who you were. I was just a fan watching, and I was like, "That's amazing."
Me more than anybody else. I was like, "Holy shit, that worked!" Like, yeah, I was like, "Oh god!" Like you see my face, I look at it, I was like, "God, I was fucking around. It worked. It was great." Yeah, but so after that, I thought my career was over. And I got.
You thought your career was over?
Yeah, I was in my 30s, and my entire goal was to be. I want to be a UFC fighter. Like that was my entire goal. I remember seeing the first UFC I ever saw was, what was it? I think it was Tito versus Vitor. It was on a VHS tape that my dad had, and I was little. And like that was I always wanted to be a UFC fighter.
Yeah, I remember.
Yeah, right.
Got a little Blockbuster.
Yeah, right. It's crazy
in the adult section,
dude. Dude, I worked at that game store, like next to a Hollywood Video. I had like so many stolen UFC DVDs, like at UFC King of the Cage. It's crazy. But I thought it was over. I was never gonna get signed, and then I get an opportunity. My now managers reached out to me, and they're like, "Hey, we can get you on PFL. There's one spot left," and I said no initially because I was like, if I take PFL and I lose, I'll never get signed. Like that, the dream is like really dead. I'm even more fucked. But then I was like, okay, I want to try for $1 million. So, long story short, I actually got into Vegas because I had my long-term chick in Ohio or whatever. We're kind of fighting, but I knew this chick from California that I kind of been fucking around with. She moved to Vegas. So then I was like, you know what? I want to try something new. I need to be around more people. I got to go all in on this. So we got into a fight. I ended up breaking up, moving to Vegas with the other, which is a fucking mistake. Oh my God. Fuck. I'm not going to name any names, but holy fuck, what a mistake that was. So you know, coming to Vegas. So she's like, she just moved out here from California. She's like, just moved to Vegas, train out here. She's like, I'm some of the best guys in the world. So I was like, okay, fuck it. I came out here. I've been out here like once with Sean and Sam. So I came out here for PFL. I called Sean like, hey, come to Vegas for a little bit, help me out this camp. And we kind of both never left. Yeah. Like, yeah, it's just fucking, we're here.
And yeah, that's how I met you.
Yeah. Now I got kids here. Like, yeah, I'm just kind of saying it's a thing. Like, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, Vegas is it brought me here, you know. Like,
where'd you come from? Where are you from?
LA.
Oh, there you go. That's right.
I've been in LA this whole time, but getting in the UFC. Well, prior to that, because I was on the Contender Series as well, and I feel you like when you don't, because I won the fight, but I didn't get signed. Right, so I was just like, fuck, now what? You know, like I wasn't good enough for the UFC. Shit.
Isn't that the worst feeling in the world?
Yeah, like okay,
you're like,
I won.
What? Like,
I imagine.
Yeah, I won, but I
wasn't good enough for the boss.
Bro, it's wild though, because I'm like, even I watched an episode later, and even like everyone at Bisping's like, oh, it was the best performance of the night. He's the most ready. So everybody said, and it's like, nope, not you. And I'm like, what?
Did they give any contracts that night?
Yeah, they gave Greg Hardy got a contract.
Of course, that's why he took all the attention that night.
It was Greg Hardy and Alonzo Minifield got he got one. So it was a weird scene because like that night. It was me. I fought. Greg Hardy fought. Alonzo Minifield fought. Kevin Holland fought.
Oh wow!
Like yeah.
So it was like a stack
Montel Jackson.
Oh wow!
Yeah, so it was a really fucking weird night. Like yeah.
That's wild when you look back on that. That's crazy. So then obviously, coming back around full circle to the fight, to the main event against Allen. Obviously, everything is going well in that 5th round, and then the hamstring. What happened? What was that feeling like in the fight? Was that a first time experience?
Oh yes, I've never had a hamstring injury ever. Like it's a really good part about being like this black, like genetically, is that like, bro, I don't injure. Like I'm very durable. Bro, it was so fucking weird because I remember I kind of like pulled it in the 2nd round, and it wasn't bad, but I could feel like okay, like just be aware of it, moving around. I'm like kind of hurt, but like okay, it's fine. I think in hindsight, it's probably because I ended up going from like not doing cardio to running like 4 or 5 miles a day every day.
Just strained.
For like it was just so strained already. Mm-hmm. But the 2nd round, I kind of felt it. And I'm like, it's fine, whatever. I can deal with it. Don't be a wuss. And then that 5th round, I get up. He tries to reshoot, and I get underhooks and I stand him up. Like, no, we're not wrestling anymore. I stand him up, and when I push down to like come up, bro, I heard it first. And it sounded like a wet, just like pop. Like I was like, what the hell was that? And then it was just weird. It was weird. Like I was just a wet pop, and I felt it like kind of like get hot. And I'm like, okay, like maybe it's just like another slight tear. I go to walk step forward, and my leg just starts to like it just starts to like. You watch the video, you see my kind of like quivers. So now I'm like, oh shit, like what do I do now? So now I'm like trying to like. I'm really grateful I wasn't in the center of the cage. So I probably would have fallen on my ass. I was like close up to the cage, kind of backed up. Like, well, I'm like, okay, it's like there's 15 seconds left in the fight. I'm like, just don't get hit and you're don't get knocked down and you're fine. And fuck, I was wrong. Like apparently, like that 15 seconds of no damage was enough to like win the fight. So
it was strange. It was. I mean, do they like? I was thinking about it actually the other day. I was like, do the judges consider Chris's hamstring tear like something that the opponent caused?
I guess they maybe didn't know, because like, so here's the shitty thing I realized too, is what I point out. If you watch the judges are watching the fight cage side through the ring.
Yeah, no.
So like, I don't know if you guys ever watched a fight cage side, but they're the worst seats in the house.
You're blocked by everything.
Like cornering. Like if you're cornering somebody, watching the fight from those seats is miserable because you can't see anything. So I don't understand like why they're like not watching here. It's so shit. Like,
I said they should be in a room by themselves with a screen.
Honestly, that would make way more sense. Like
you shouldn't even see the judges.
No, I think it's something that we need to change.
I agree.
Like, because like it's easy to influence judges too. Like it's so easy to influence.
The corners
judges.
do it now.
Yeah. I will take Sean will take credit for this, because like, so when I corner Sean and he corners me, it's for years. A big thing is like, you know how to fight. Like, make sure you don't do anything stupid. But I'm not cornering you. I'm working the judge. Like I want the judge to hear me. And I want your opponent to hear me. Like Eric is in your corner for a reason. Like whatever, that's his job. My job isn't really to like get that. I mean, I can be a backup there. My job is to talk to the judge. Yeah. My job is to talk to your opponent. Like, this is why Imavov hates me, because like, when Imavov fought Sean, I was talking so much shit. He was so mad.
I know. I've seen you guys.
Even when he fought Roman, I was talking so much shit. That guy hates me, and I fucking love it. Like it is fucking glorious, bro. He hates me.
That's so funny. Yeah, and then that's another side of the game. It's that mental warfare, being able to influence. Not only the opponent, but the judges too.
It is insane though that we let judges like sit there in the open with bad views, and then as well, in some, depending on where you fight, they may not have access to instant replay. So instant replay isn't standard across the board, guys. It depends on like what jurisdiction. So
no, going back to having that advantage of kind of being able to manipulate the judges in a way, with that mental warfare with a potential opponent you're cornering, how is that, in your opinion, how have you seen that, and does that need to change?
It does need to change, honestly. Like, I'm not going to lie, Sean and I both have, like, kind of pushed, I'm pretty sure there's some fights we've influenced judging, because, like, especially in the Apex, when they can hear you. You don't have the best view. If I'm reacting big, or you're talking, like, oh, you're hurting him. That's true. So two things. It's that guy, maybe he can't see. Or maybe your judge isn't super.
Yeah. Or hype up every strike that.
Yeah.
For sure.
And and like, guys, like, a lot of these judges aren't professionals. Like, when it comes to this,
they haven't been in a fight.
Yeah, they've been in a fight. So if you don't really know like 1% what you're watching, but you got a guy like, oh, you're doing great, John. You're doing great. He's hurt. It's killing him.
And like subconsciously, he's doing great.
Well, if you guys don't believe me, think about this. Go watch a fight with Joe Rogan telling you how hurt a guy is from leg kicks, and then turn the volume off, go back and watch that fight. I guarantee, like, how you look at those leg kicks are different. Because Joe Rogan has broken a lot of people's minds and thinking every calf kick hurts. Yeah. Like, no, like, there are fights I remember Joe Rogan's like, oh, his leg is compromised. I'm like, bro, I'm fine. Like, I don't even, like, it's fine.
Nothing, yeah.
But when you hear someone say it, like Dominic Cruz, like, oh, like, he's doing this, and this, people will be like, oh, that's what's happening. Like, no, it's not what's happening. Hurt. Like, commentary, like, the commentary is not there for the guy fighting. It's there for the people at home. And their job is to kind of paint a picture. But everybody paints that picture in a biased way. But when it happens, you guys believe it. Like, that's what you see. That's what you hear. A lot of you guys aren't, like, professionals or, like, knowledgeable in, like, that, in the ring. So you rely on them. I think a lot of times judges who aren't super, like, experienced have that same thing. Like, oh, well, if you're cheering and the crowd's yelling, it has to be good, right? Like, no, like, people will cheer for everything.
I agree. We've definitely seen tons. It's almost a weekly occurrence where there's at least one or two fights where you're just like, huh? How is it judged that way?
Not last week though. Every fight was.
Oh, I mean,
on point.
They fired. I think I got rid of that one fucking judge. Like, the guy from the night I fought was just scoring shit. One guy was just scoring. Peter Colin, whatever.
Cologne
guy.
Yeah, he's literally scored every round for Allen except one.
But
which
yeah,
is like
right?
opposite day.
Yeah,
it was
then,
like literally the opposite.
Well, the one before that, he
horrible,
scored 30-27 to the guy. I'm like, what?
Yes,
like, what are you doing? Like, what are you watching?
Yes.
But once again, like that guy's a jiu-jitsu guy.
Is he Cologne?
He's a pure jiu-jitsu guy.
So he's gonna score anything.
So he's got no idea what's going on in the feet.
Sure.
He's just like,
I've said it for years. I think that the judging criteria has to have ex-pro fighters.
You have to, because like it's still going to be biased. Like you can't completely remove bias from judging. Like people are people. Everyone has a bias, but I think that bias becomes a little bit less important if you get like actual MMA fighters, like not boxers, not grapplers. Like get MMA fighters who at least understand what they're watching.
Yeah,
because like there's just certain things that like. Not to be a dick, but like people watching fights just don't understand. Like as a fighter, there's certain 100%. Things that, like you just don't understand, and I can't tell you what you don't know that you don't know. Like so, it's so hard. Like it's just pain in the ass, man.
It is. It's always hilarious watching fights.
Yeah,
watching a fight at a bar or something.
It's so wild.
The shit you hear, like the comment, like just the
that jiu-jitsu stuff will never work on me.
Yes.
I'm like, what?
He's like, I would just stand up.
Just stand up is my favorite. Like that works for one person. Like
Derek Lewis.
Yeah, I think that's a huge misconception of the sport. You know, a lot of people don't know the wrestling is fucking. You know, they just think it's so fucking easy, but it's actually the most complicated part.
And I see a lot of, you know, even in UFC 300, we got a lot of boos for, you know, the grappling stuff. People being on the ground grabbing, you know.
Fucking Aljo gets so much hate for like, God. Like,
but what he's able, man, he power bombed a grown man on his head. Like
that's some WWE.
That was cool. Like that was a really cool fucking thing to do to another person in the cage, and people don't realize how hard that is. WWE's fake.
Well, look at this. Like with Aljo, like check it out. So I'll use Aljo and Brendan. Like there's a difference in like back takes to where Brendan and Aljo both take the back, but Aljo never
doesn't get off the
back position.
Yeah,
if you take somebody's back and they like escape, you didn't really do anything. Like nothing happened. Like nothing was exchanged.
Exactly.
But like Aljo can take your back, and once he gets on your back, the rest of the round he's on your back. Like you can't getting position and position with absolute control are very, very different things.
For sure.
But like people don't realize that. Like it's not one and the same. Like, oh, how come I know? Like, those are two very different scenarios. To like you don't once Aljo gets on you, it's a pain to get him off. He's just like he's a fucking tick.
Yeah.
Like him and Patchy mix are like the people once they get on your back, we live with that's where the round is now.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter.
You gotta give up the round.
Yeah, the round is over. Yeah. The round now you're just surviving for the rest of the round. Yeah.
Exactly. And then people see that as like boring, but in reality, guys, like what they're able to accomplish, like the guy that has got their back take does not want to be there, so they are trying to get out. Not. So like what they're able to accomplish is fucking good.
Taking a guy down, holding him down in guard is going to be boring for most people. But you take a guy down, you pass, you take his back, and you stay there for an entire round. That's a little more impressive. You're like, okay, like because as a fighter, you're like, guys, like it's really hard to like maintain this and not make a mistake for like a ton of time. Like
I've been there. I've been put to sleep. You know, like it's not a fun place to be. So when there are guys that can do that, I mean the Khabibs, you know, look at Sterling.
Most time I ever get my back take is because I'm just trying to get out of it an even worse position. If I'm already mounted or something, I'm like, take it.
See, that's why that's how I am. Like I give my back because I'm going to get up.
And you also have that body type where it's hard to choke you.
I have no neck, and like so like that's
literally this fucking guy has no.
I give my back all the time. Like why? Like,
the
because
beard
you're
gets
not
in the way.
Yeah, you're not gonna. It's very few people can like.
Bro, dude, jiu-jitsu with this guy is like Eustace going for his fucking neck. I swear.
Yeah, I give
He's got like a super skinny waist.
You know, so let's be turned inside.
Yeah, so it's like you have a full triangle, and you're like, yeah, and all of a sudden he's like,
just turns over. What the fuck? That's I just do it. But like once again, like it's just things like you know, like you have to kind of be in there to like understand. So
for sure,
who the fuck knows, man? Like this judging system is so washed. Like it's
unfortunate. I mean, obviously they always say don't leave it to the judges, and that's a fact. If you can, go for the finish, but. Sometimes, man, you just never know. It's
that's
like
my least favorite thing too. People are, don't leave never go to the judge and leave the judge's hands.
I'm like, to knock this man out.
Do you understand? Oh, okay. That is the most annoying thing ever. Like, don't let it go to the judges. I'm like, I was trying. Yeah. Like I was actually just like me and Dominican Cruz, like buddy.
Should have left it in the hands of the judges. Like fuck, I tried not to, bro. But
me and when I fought Barry, me and Cruz butt heads. He's like, oh well, this is like you're sparring. I'm like, bro. I'm hitting him real. It's not my fault. He's a tough man.
Yeah, like it gets to a certain level where, like, where you guys are at in your careers, where you are so weathered.
So it's
like it's so hard to get finished.
So one of the things too is like I think you're kind of the same way. Like, okay, so I've sparred you a lot, and you're kind of the same way to where neither one of us wind up on punches.
Yeah.
And like guys, like he's to the point just like there's no tell, no wind up, but it's enough to be like God that hurts. Like my God. But people expect like hitting hard. It's like
swinging overhands.
I'm like no, like I don't swing overhands, and like it's just not it's not an effective way to fight. And it's just like people you don't unless you know you've been in there. Yeah. Then again, Dominic Cruz has been in there. He's a fucking so like
like you said, like it's not about winding up. It's really just extending
the technique. Yeah, it's the technique.
It's extending your punch
and having defense,
knowing your distance.
Oh, bro, now I gotta hear because Dominic Cruz said it on the broadcast. I fought Barry, and I gotta hear like, oh, you just fight like you're sparring. I'm like, do you see him bleeding and like getting marked up? Like I'm hitting him really hard. He's just a solid man. Like
exactly.
You know, like Brandon, I didn't wind up, but I fucking rocked him like 4 times. Like I hit. It's technique, but like swinging overhands isn't an effective way to fight 9 out of 10 times.
No, and it also puts you in a compromising.
Yeah, well, that's how you get knocked out. Yeah. That's how a lot of people get knocked out.
Especially in a fight.
Look at Justin Gage.
Especially in a fight where you got to be more technical, and it's not wise. And like he said, like he just said right there, the swing for the fences will get you knocked the fuck out sometimes.
Sometimes it'll hit you a home run. Sometimes you're
it's like when you're just swinging, there's no defense. Like if anything, like Gaethje, like just got caught and just went completely to guy. He died.
Yeah.
He died. Was rough.
And it was such a rough fight for him because that spinning back kick landed right at the end of the first round, broke his face.
What?
Broke his nose, split him open.
So like
at that point, I knew where the fight was gonna go.
Well, you can't. I mean, especially for like someone like Gaethje, who's so like dependent on trading damage. Like when Gaethje fights, the big thing is he'll trade you damage for damage to see who can go longer,
who can survive.
And I appreciate that. Like I'm a fan of this fighting style. Like we'll just see who lasts longer.
Yeah.
But to get compromised in round 1 and not just hurt, but like when you break something, like that's my biggest fear. Like I'm okay with trading like damage for damage, see who can do it longer. But if you break something, like now, like I know that, like man,
I'm gonna target that.
I'm like oh god, that's so rough.
And then you can't breathe.
Yeah, now you can't. Now you're breathing out of your mouth, and it's even
you
make yourself even more susceptible for a knockout because you're breathing with your
mouth's open,
wide open,
chin's right there. But you know the thing you could tell every time he did get touched on the nose, it just hurts so damn much.
He's like flinching and like Then like Max and me just starts jabbing it.
And he's just like then he gets in his super flow state. Yeah, and it's just like. Bro looked amazing, you know.
That was bad. That's just a rough night.
So unlucky.
That's fights are weird, man. Like you do everything.
Who expected fucking Max Holloway to throw a spinning back kick too?
He was landing it all night.
Yeah, that was wild. Like I haven't seen him do that in years. Like he used to do it when he was like a little bit when he was like way younger.
Yeah.
But he just spinning back kicked the shit out of him constantly. Like
it was just like every one he threw landed.
That's always the worst part about fighting. Like you do your videos, you study, you do your tape, you come in, they do something different. You're like, God damn.
Bro, I can't tell you how many times. Like especially at the beginning of my career, I would like super study tape on my opponents, and then I'd be like, "What the fuck? You're a southpaw now?"
Yeah, I'm actually the opposite. I never really watch tape on my opponents. You know, I always just expect like. You know what I mean? Because the way I am, I'm like, if you watch my old video, like I got way better since then. I've gotten way better, so I would expect.
Same as them.
Yeah.
And that's what I'm always doing now is I always tell people, like, if you can, like, MMA's gotten weird. I remember back in the day, like, no one ever had footage. You never see, everybody hit it. But now I'm like, okay, like, you can just fight past me, so I can't hide footage. So I'm one of those people who are like, you can come train with me and I'll still fight you this weekend because it's whatever. But I always tell people, like, if you watch my footage, it's fine. If I haven't gotten any better between 1 and 2 fights, like I've made a mistake. It's not, that's whatever. So I should be different. Sure. But there are some. But I mean, still, I'll watch footage when I get a fight because everyone has like habits. So even if you change styles, everybody maintains habits. Just the way we fight. But like, fuck, man, there's nothing worse than when someone completely changes. Like when I fought Jack, I was like, oh my god, this is not what I signed up for.
The way he fought, I didn't imagine that either.
I was like, of everything, but we had like
a karate fighter.
I was like, bro, like I had 2 weeks of training. I was like, okay, like fine.
Grappler.
I was like, beat the wrestle, grapple, it's fine. And then he's like, karate fighting. I was like, bro, I had no.
Just like point fighting with his kicks. Like, it was because I actually put money on you on that fight. I was frustrated too.
I was oh my god, that was guys.
Like, let me tell you,
with him. There's nothing worse than you're like, this is not what I prepared for at all.
Fuck. No.
So yeah, man, you gotta be careful relying too much on fucking tape, man, because it'll bite you in the ass sometimes.
Oh, for sure. I've been on that, but like you mentioned before, I like watching it to kind of see like the way they move.
Yeah.
What do they like? It's not so much like, oh, he's like that, I'm gonna do like this. It's more like, what am I gonna see?
Yeah, very rarely does somebody completely 100% change everything they do. There's always gonna be like. You can tell like certain as you watch my old fights between like when I first started and now, I'm a lot different. But even I can go back and watch and see some things that are just like part of my DNA as a fighter. So even if I've gone from like I've tried to move more from counterpuncher to like forward pressure, you still see like in certain things that I do is exactly the same. I'm like, damn, that hasn't changed for 10 years. It's just who you are at that point.
You're built in. It's like your style.
You can change your style, but there's always going to be parts of that like linger over.
For sure. No, that's a fact. That's like, I mean, I've always considered like the fight life kind of like a video game where you're just like adding attributes.
You add stats.
It's exactly what
you add stats.
Bro.
That's what I tell you. In life in general, I put all my stats to unarmed combat. That's why we're here. Like
you go on that journey, and you just like have no idea where you're gonna go, and then you're just like, oh, I'll go to this gym.
Yeah, I keep doing it. Yeah, that's the thing. Like that's what I always say about gyms.
It's literally a fucking video game.
Like how many high level gyms have you trained at?
Man.
A bunch, a few, right?
Yeah, it's a lot actually.
Yeah, it's like I've trained at a lot of
it's been from it's kind of like a ladder.
Yeah.
And now I'm at extreme. I'm like, oh shit, this is shit over here.
I always tell people, like with gyms especially, like it's like that journey to where you can go to a world class gym and be like, this isn't for me.
Yeah.
Because like every gym does something different. There's no such thing as a perfect gym. Every gym has things they do well, and then things they could do better, things you don't vibe with. Maybe you don't like maybe that gym style isn't for you.
Yeah.
So like you'll leave a lot of like good places because like you're just like, this doesn't mesh with the way I fight. Like
with my style, with what I'm looking for.
And like not every coach can make every fighter good. Like you can have a really good fighter who's bad under a really good coach because it just doesn't work. Like so we didn't throw shade because Frankie Edgar's one of my favorite fighters ever. I love Frankie Edgar. One of the coolest dudes ever. But like there was a time back in the day he got with Phil Nurse and you just saw like Muay Thai Frankie Edgar and I'm like, please stop this. And I remember when he fought Benson Henderson and he's like Muay Thai and Benson Henderson and I'm like, oh my god, like fucking stop. And it was like the worst thing ever.
Trying to
and like
change what he was.
I'm just like it doesn't vibe with like the way you fight. Like oh my god, it was so bad. I remember that's the one fight. I'm just like, please, Frankie, like don't do this.
Did he get smashed that fight or what happened?
He didn't do well. It's just a really stupid style. But like so like you got to find somewhere that fits and like. So if you go that place, maybe you picked up something you like from there, but it's not where you want to be. So you go somewhere else. You added one small piece, and on to the next one,
For sure, that's the thing. It's a journey,
exactly.
The one thing I don't like that happens a lot with coaches. They try to make it like you have to stay in this place. You can't train.
Oh god,
man! A good coach
will let you go.
A good coach will tell you like, look, man, you need to step your game up, and that was the case when I first started. And I've had coaches that were like, yo, you need to go excel, and I've had coaches that were like, try to keep me in a fucking bubble.
That's such a big thing. It's like, especially when I started, it was way different. Like when I started like fighting guys, everything, especially back in the Midwest, everything was a lot smaller, it was a lot more cliquey. So it was natural. But as you get to a certain level with high level coach, like I travel everywhere and I'll go train with people. And Eric's like, yeah, like this coach, he's like, this guy's great at this. Go talk to him. And like people are always like, oh, what if you end up fighting their guys? Like cross that bridge and you get to it, whatever. Like we said before, you should be improving constantly anyway. But I've realized the best coaches I've had aren't about like, oh, you can't go here or don't go here. They're like, no, like figure things out. Like the best coaches I've known understand that they don't have all the answers and they don't try to keep you there as an ego thing. They're like, no, if I don't have an answer, find someone who does. Like you don't have, they're not going to throw you out. They're just like, no, like find someone who has the answer. It's fine. Yeah. And like, learn, get better. And the best coach is like, hey, if you learn something new and you come back here and you show me, I've learned something new too. But then you have people who fucking ego trip. Like if you go to that gym, you're going to get beat up, or like, oh, you can't go there. Or oh, I was like, no, like the best coaches I know, like I've never heard Eric Nick talk shit about anybody. He just doesn't. He does it. Like that's why I have respect for Eric and Henry Hooft is one of my favorite coaches, Killcliff. Like Henry Hooft doesn't give a fuck about like he doesn't talk shit about anybody. He doesn't have like cliques. Henry, they're like, oh, like awards. Henry Hooft is like, I don't care about awards. I just want my guys to do well. I just want to have fun, do what I do.
I used to train with Henry.
Dude, I fucking love Hoof, man. Like I keep meaning. I've been out there at Killcliff before. Every time I try to go back out there, I end up fighting a Killcliff guy. So like,
there's so many guys.
Yeah, it's like me. I'm like, God, like, I'm just like, I'm one of my like 4-1 against Killcliff right now. I'm like, my God, like I'm trying to train with you, Henry, and I keep getting some like, I can't fight for months now. So okay, I'm gonna go try to train with Henry for a little bit once I can move.
So yeah, let's move on to your hamstring. So what's the prognosis and the when you're coming back? What did you do exactly? Is it a torn?
All right, yeah. So I have 2 tears. I have a grade 2 tear and a high grade 2 tear. So we actually thought I had a grade 3 tear. We thought that I tore it completely off, but there's like 10% of my hamstring hanging on. I forgot which one it was. There's like 3 hamstring muscles in the back. The middle one, the biggest one, is like hanging on by like 10%. It's like fucking Bruce Willis, bro. He's holding on for dear life. Shout out to my hamstring for holding it down. He's holding it down. Like he's just holding on for dear life.
Sounds like my ACL.
Yeah, right. There's like one part of my hamstring just holding on. Yeah. I got this. Like, so we decided to go. We're gonna try to do a couple months of like stem cell and hydrogel therapy to see if we can get it to start healing. Because if I can get it to start healing and like the scar down. If we can get the scar over, we can just do physical therapy, and that's like 5 months. If we do, 8 weeks of treatment and it's not scarring over, then we'll probably have to do surgery. If we do surgery, that's 8 to 9 months. Gotcha. So I really don't want to sit out 8 to 9 months. I can stomach 5 months if I really try, because that's just having like a time between fights. Like okay, I haven't fought in a while. 9 months, I'm gonna lose my shit. Like I can't wait 9 months.
That's kind of been the boat I'm in at the moment because I have a partially torn ACL and I'm just trying to rehab it. Been rehabbing it with the PI, and I'm just hoping that I just really don't want to go under the knife.
Yeah, that's the thing, man.
It's just a longer time out.
It's such a long recovery, and
D-Rod's been there.
I was out a whole year.
Dude, how did you mentally? I've been tough on the shelf for 2 weeks and I'm losing my mind.
Man, it was rough, dog. It was rough. I was like, who the fuck am I, dog? Who the fuck am I?
I've been sitting down for 2 weeks. I'm like, I think I love my girlfriend less. I'm like, damn. I'm like, yeah, like 2 weeks. I'm like, oh my God.
It was some dark times, man. It was a whole year. I had surgery. I had torn ligaments that originally started in the Mike Perry fight. That fucking guy's fucking rockhead over there. And then for the Kevin Lee fight is when I completely busted it. So had to get a surgery, and I got real eager to get back to training, and I ended up getting fucking 3 surgeries because like I'll go back to training or I wouldn't listen to coaching. I'll just get in my own head and like because we're at the highest level in the game.
Yeah, we are who we are.
Yeah, we're fighting fucking. I would get in my head like, man, I can't take too much time off. Like I'm in the UFC, I got to keep up with fucking the competition and keep doing whatever I could do. And sure enough, I'll push myself, try to test my limits, and end up re-injuring myself.
How old are you?
Prolonging. 37.
That's how. So if I'm 37, I'm 37 in July. So my biggest fear right now is time off. I got signed so late. My biggest fear is time off, guys. So like I've got 3 more good years. I think like at 40 is probably when like I could probably fight to end of my 40s. But I've always noticed like once you hit 40, you see guys start having like you can suck it up and put it off, push through your 30s. You really can. But once I've seen like 40, 41, you see 90% of guys like fall off hard. Nobody beats Father Time.
Yeah.
So the scary thing is, bro, they're like, I've had time off between fights more than like 5 months, even like 9 months before. I could still train. They're like, you can't train. I'm thinking like five months, cool. Like, no. You can't train for 5 months. In 5 months till you're back to training. And I'm like, what do you mean? Like, the longest I've ever had off between training was like 8 weeks when I fucked my hand up from Contenders. And I'm like, what do you mean I can't? Like, guys, I've like torn muscles, broken bones, been back on the gym. Like, when I first went to fight Dricus a few years ago, I broke my wrist in sparring.
I remember. That was at Killcliff, right?
No, that's a broken rib. Oh. I broke my rib. I broke my wrist sparring, just random freak accident on a Tuesday. Pulled out the Dricus fight that day, like it's broken, like it's gone. So that video I had and I beat that Street Fighter up in the gym, whatever. That was the same week I broke my wrist. Like if you watch the video, I never moved my left hand because it's broken. my wrist is broken. So they like taped it up, and I was back in sparring 2 days later. And I'm like, I can't. I'm like, I'm just not gonna use it. It's fine. I'm here. I'm just gonna train. Just not so I that entire video. I'm at one point. I'm on top of him, just going like this with my other hand up because it's fucking broken. So guys, I broke my hand. I was like 2 days. I'm like back in. I'll just be smart. Like we're stupid. We are creatures of habit, and like I said, when we don't train, like we don't feel like ourselves.
Yeah,
man. Like,
it's mentally. Trust me. Like he always tells me all the time I'm depressed because you know, having these injuries, you just can't. Like it's like I can do one session and then the next day my knees just blows up and I can't move.
Especially when you put so much into it and you're like your day-to-day life revolves around what we do, you know, and then when you can't do it, it's like, fuck, now what?
And it's not only that, it's like we love what we do. Well, it's such an enjoyment.
That's the scary part. So there's there's a couple type of fighters, guys. There's guys who like to compete, and there are guys who like martial arts, and there are guys who like to fight. One of the things I've realized that guys who like to fight more than anything identify as a fighter. Like you can see a guy like a guy who competed as a wrestler his entire life. He goes in there. I see a lot of those guys don't really like to fight. They like to compete. They like to win. You got guys like martial arts. They believe and they think that they're a big journey guy, like the fucking self whatever. And they can they're not. Sometimes they like fighting. Sometimes they just like pushing themselves. But guys who like to fight, who like to fucking throw down, like that's who we identify as. Like I'm. In my own head, like if you're like, oh, what are you? My first thought is a fighter. I'm a fighter, guys. I'm a writer. I'm a father. Like I'm a fucking brother. I'm a teammate. But my first thought is to myself is I am a fighter. I'm Chris the fighter. But now that I can't do things that go into being Chris the fighter, I'm like, well, what the hell? Okay, well, go be a dad. So I got a newborn. I'm like, I love my kid to death. But I'm like, man, I love playing with you. But after a little bit, I'm like, man, it's like practice time. Like I should go. Like it's. Once you identify as that, it's hard to change, man.
Yeah, dude, and I feel you on that. Going back to like you said, like our age, and I kind of feel like I'm at a point like, yo, I'm racing against the clock over here. So I feel like it's go time. So like, as for the past few years, like I'm thinking about it. It's in the back of my head. Like, all right, I'm 37. I'm like, fuck. All right, I'm trying to get the most fights in as possible. Yeah. Until then, like I got, like you said, I got a few more solid ass fucking years.
Dude. Everybody asked why I started. When I started, like we took like 7 fights, in 2 years. I'm like, guys, I'm in my mid. I got signed in my like mid 30s. I'm like, I am fighting the clock every day. And even like you got time, but even like that, like tell me now, 37, you don't wake up now and like you feel different. Like your energy changes.
Feeling it,
dude. Yeah, right. Guys, you're mid to late 30s, your energy's different. I'm like, man, I wake up, I'm like, oh, fuck, I gotta do stuff today. You don't recover the way you used to. But I remember never being sore in my 20s. Now in my 30s, I'm like, oh my god, like this shit's miserable. Like it's different, man. Father Time's a motherfucker. So you can fight him, you can put him off, but the same thing you said, in the back of your head, he's gonna win. Like Father Time always wins, undefeated still. Mm-hmm. So like that's the scary part, man. Like every day you're not training, you're not getting better. There's a kid who's in his 20s who's got the next 10 years.
Exactly. Yeah. Hungry as fuck too,
No, but, for sure. But it's like for me, I mean, and here's the thing: I'm a betting guy. I do a lot of betting.
I just had this talk with somebody. Like, how do you have the balls to bet? You fight. How can you bet on fights? You know how stupid. You know how much dumb shit happens.
This motherfucker bets on everything,
bro. How
literally everything you can think of.
You're a fighter.
He's 7 a.m. And this was yelling at fucking tennis games. He's like, fuck.
I love tennis.
He's my fucking.
I'm a big sports guy.
You may have a problem.
You may have a problem.
That's a different podcast. You may have a problem.
You can't have a problem. No.
It's a slight problem.
It's not that bad.
It's bad. It's bad, bro. I'm not even lying. This is all
turns into an intervention. we got to talk.
Bad. It's like when people are first of all, when people are gambling away all their money and they have no money. Like that's a different story.
Do you gamble every day?
Not every day, but almost every day. Almost every day. Not every day. Not today. I didn't bet today. There's Champions League soccer. Didn't bet.
Jesus.
So, yeah, he bets on soccer.
Bro.
But any sport throughout the day, he's like, all right.
Watching curling, like, come on.
No, not curling. There's sports I do bet on. There's sports I don't bet on.
I guarantee you.
And I can tell you why.
Like,
what's the most odd sport you've ever bet on? The most odd fucking, like not like
maybe for you guys rugby. would be.
Rugby.
Because you guys don't watch rugby.
All right, for you guys, what is for you?
Weird for me? No, there's nothing weird because they're all like sports that I know.
You bet on cricket, don't you?
Never. I hate that sport.
I feel like you bet on cricket.
Never. I can't watch that sport. I'm not a cricket guy. But no, like basketball, hockey, baseball, soccer, fighting. That's usually like the sports I bet on.
Dude,
but it's nothing crazy. Like I like parlays. I put like $50.
Would you ever bet on WWE? I heard you do that.
No, never.
Can you bet on that?
Yes, they have lines for it. I thought it was the stupidest thing ever.
It's a scripted event.
I know. Why would anyone bet money on something that's scripted? This like insider trading.
Insider trading like a motherfucker.
Yeah, for real.
How do I get high?
James Krause shit.
Guys, we have a plan now. All right, like we gotta get hired WWE. Like, let's do this.
All you need is one person in the WWE.
I need a script leak. Like, I need a script leak.
Tell you all the secrets for sure.
But what a gamble that is, huh?
Yeah, I mean, speaking of that side of gambling,
are you gonna gamble this weekend on the Garcia versus?
I want to look at the odds.
Dude, do not bet on Ryan Garcia.
He's surely the underdog.
Ryan Garcia out here wilding.
Dude,
he's acting like a crazy guy. Yeah,
I love this, like the fucking media, because Ryan Garcia has aged Devin Haney by like 15 years. Devin Haney looks like just a pissed off dad. Like,
yes.
He's just like,
I don't even think he's taking
Ryan Garcia is doing shit. Devin Haney is just like, that man has aged 15 years in the last 2 months. So he's just so sick of this shit. Like, I've been fucking dying watching this. It's like, Ryan Garcia is clearly insane.
Comedy.
He's clearly insane. I'm surprised you're letting him fight. Like, no one cares about your mental health. Like, it's cool, whatever. Like, not my place to say. But like, I feel so bad for Devin Haney, who's just like, I feel like he just wants to go home. He's like, he can't wait till this is over. He's like, never doing this again. It's bad.
From what we've watched, I think Ryan faced him in the amateurs and beat him. Right?
Did he beat him in the amateurs? So first of all, like, never.
So they were rivals all through amateur boxing up until.
Obviously, drugs were not involved at that time, so
well,
changed.
Remember, amateur boxing and professional boxing are very drastically different things.
For sure.
Because what works in Emmys doesn't usually translate as
points.
well.
It's all points. Nice. And they don't really...
Unless you're fucking Russian. Like, unless you have a Russian style, which is like works for both most of the time.
What is going on, guys? We got the deal of the century for you guys with Aerial Reality. In the beautiful Dominican Republic, we have the beautiful Villa Bonita. It says it in the words itself. Absolutely beautiful villa in Punta Cana, Dominican Republic, right on a resort golf course, right by the beach, on the water, the ultimate holiday destination. You can take a look at these pictures, these images. Don't you imagine seeing yourself and the homies, the family, the friends, everybody having a good time in the Dominican Republic, one of the cheapest places American tourists can go. Your money lasts you a long time, and plus, you're going to be living and dining and playing a lot of good golf and getting some sunshine. So here's the deal we offer for you guys. If you mention the Culture Crooks podcast in relation to booking a trip at Villa Bonita in Punta Cana, Dominican Republic, if you book 4 nights, you will get 1 night for free. And if you book 8 nights, you will get 2 nights for free. So that's right. If you use Culture Crooks podcast when making your booking, whether you need to contact them, you can use me or you can contact them directly. Let them know you are using the Culture Crooks podcast discount code, and you can get 1 free night if you book 4, and you can get 2 free nights if you book 8. So I don't know. That's a no-brainer. That sounds like an amazing deal. Definitely somewhere that we're trying to get out maybe after this Saudi Arabia trip. So yeah, take a look. If you have any questions, feel free to reach out to me directly on social media. And yeah, it looks like an amazing experience. So jump at the chance. And yeah, thank you guys for tuning in. And if you have any questions, holler at your boy.
I never put any like stock on he beat him in the Emmys. Like, so the fuck what?
Someone like Kovalev, another guy, you know, can throw that volume and have that knockout power. To be honest with you, I have no idea. Like when I was like, oh yeah, they're fighting this weekend, I was just like, I don't have any clue.
I think it is. I'm not gonna watch because I'm over. It hurts to watch fighting. I didn't even watch 300 really. No? I watched like highlights of it.
Because you're hurt right now.
And that's the worst thing is like you're hurt and you're watching fights and you're just like, oh, they feel like a piece of shit. You're like, yeah. So I didn't even watch. I'm not gonna watch this.
What does Chris like to do in his free time when he has it? You know?
Dude, I game way more than I should.
Video game? What's your console? PC?
So I used to be a PlayStation guy, and then once I got money, I went to PC.
Nice.
So
that whole like setup.
Dude, my first bonus check in the UFC, I bought like it was like $6,000.
Oh,
it's like it's absolutely insane. So now I've gotten into like PC gaming. I can't go back. And my setup is ridiculous. I spent way too much money on it. The best thing is my son's mom is also a gamer.
Oh, cool.
So we have a gaming room set up. And it's great. So like we just game like all the time.
That's dope. What are some of your favorite games that you play?
I'm everything. I'm everything but sports. I don't play sports anymore. One of my thing is I don't play anything I can do in real life.
Got you.
If I could do it in real life, I'll go outside. I'll go fucking touch grass. But I can't be. You see people like play 2K all day. I'm like, go outside, motherfucker. Like go play outside. So that's my one rule. I don't play anything I do outside. Dude, what am I playing like shit right now? I'm playing like 10 things. What am I playing? Helldivers 2 is a big one. I finished Baldur's Gate 3. I did Star Citizen Player a long time. Final Fantasy 14. Remnant 2.
Fantasy. Yeah. I used to play that when I was young.
Yeah, Remnant 2 I still play. I just got back into Call of Duty after like taking a year off because fuck Call of Duty.
They're also fucking good, bro.
Yeah, I took a year off.
I suck.
Yeah, I suck too.
I'm great. It's just I took like a year and a half off. I'm like fuck this game. Like I'm over it.
I get so mad playing, bro. I can't play it because everyone just whoops them.
Yeah. So my oldest son's a gamer, so he wanted to play. He watched my girl and my oldest son watched Fallout 76. So they watched Fallout, the Fallout TV show. So now we're playing Fallout online together because they want to play that. So I've got
So you're a gamer.
You don't understand. Like my manager calls me like, I was doing your taxes. Like you spent like oh god, last year I spent probably like $9,000 on Steam. Like it's like $9,000 on like video games like on Steam. And he's like, "What the hell?" I was like, "Well, technically I'm streaming, so like part of my streams is like, okay."
Do you stream?
I'm getting into streaming more and more.
Do you have like a Twitch? Is it called Twitch?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure Twitch. I think it's Action Man 513. I haven't done anything like since like last camp, so I gotta get back on that. But like, yeah, it's just fun. But like, dude, I spend way too much money in games. Like, it's sad. Like, it's kind of a problem. Like, if you're gambling, I game. Like,
I feel you. I watch a lot of sports, and for me, it's like so I grew up in Hong Kong and didn't have access to sports that you guys had regular like sports centers. For us, we had nothing. So whenever I would come to the U.S.
What is that just a thing? Like you just like
channels back then growing up, there were just like 2 channels, and they show like Friends.
Yeah, that's right.
You know, there was like maybe occasionally you'd get like one like a final of the World Cup or something.
Yeah,
but really nothing. You know, so when I would get a chance to see sports, bro, it was like I love sports. You know, I love the NBA. Like the
never
NBA,
lost that love. Yeah,
I just loved it. So when I did eventually come to the States, I'm like, bro, I have access to everything and I can watch it without having to stress. Man, I used to wake up at 3 a.m. to watch sports as a kid. Watch games here that were like at regular hours. Just because like I was passionate, bro. Like just fight fan, sports, everything. So when I got out here and was like, I live in Vegas. And then there was like a period when I used to train with the Black Zillions. And for example, Anthony Rumble Johnson, rest in peace. He was fighting Daniel Cormier. And he was getting ready for that title fight, and I was in his camp, like at the gym, and I just saw his performances in sparring, and was like, I have a really good feeling about this fight that DC is gonna win this fight,
dude.
And I just put all of my money at the time on DC, and I was so scared. This was the first time I ever placed a bet. And then I don't know if you guys remember that fight, but Rumble smacks him with like a straight right and sends him like. Halfway. Yeah. I'm like, oh fuck.
I've lost it all.
I'm like, oh god, here comes the end. But thank God, at that moment, DC was able to take him down, take his back, and tap him out. And from then on, I almost felt like I had a kind of like insider information on certain fights at that time, because at that time, bro, they didn't have like the bookies didn't have good information on how they were like fucking putting the money lines on these fights. So, for example, remember when Ronda Rousey was doing her thing, and she was so overhyped, and anyone like us as fighters would see her and be like, she can't even box. Like, telling her she's gonna knock out Floyd Mayweather, exactly, and then she gets matched up with matched up with Holly Holm and is like a minus 600 favorite, which is like you got to bet $600 just to win 100 on Ronda. I was like, Holly Holm's a multiple time boxing champion. She's jacked. I was like, I'm pretty sure she can stop this girl.
And that was right when she the height of Ronda low with her hands. Like, I can knock her out. I'm like,
yeah. So then at that time she was plus 300. She was plus 300, and I threw $3K on her, won $9,000, and I was like, I think I got a thing for this, you know.
Dude.
So that was kind of how I got into it. But I never put high risk anymore. I like playing parlays, couple picks, and I just enjoy watching it. It's nothing like game changer. Your fight was exciting as fuck. I had a parlay that was all hitting, and I had Chris Curtis as a winner. I was sitting there watching
fuck him. That up. Yeah,
you didn't fuck it up though. You won that shit.
I should have. So it's. When I watched the fight, I was like, I should have killed it.
I'm
so mad at myself.
I was watching the fight with my manager, and
last one?
His fight.
His last one?
When he fought, against Allen. My manager was here, and I was like fucking on my feet, screaming like, because I just wanted the parlay to hit, and I wanted you to win. So I love that. You know. It's
apparently, not only do even the UFC thought you won that fight.
So the UFC took care of me for that one. Like they've said like we don't control the judges
substantially.
At
the end of the day, if you're getting paid your win money, you're a happy man.
Yeah, they took care of me well for that one. So that was really cool of them. It's one of those things to where it's wild, man. Like, it's so wild.
It's so unpredictable.
That's why
even they were like, damn, my bad.
Bro, the thing that kills me is I've had people in the company come up to me and be like, I thought you won that. I've had high-ranking people tell me I thought I won that. I've had coaches not even my coaches, like coaches, like world coaches of champions. I've had world champion fighters, champion coaches, like just come find me.
Has
or like
anyone
hit me up
come to you and said you lost?
No,
except for like trolls online.
I swear I have like so many coaches and like current coaches of champions and champion fighters come up to me like that was bullshit. Yeah. So I'm like it hurts to take the loss. But at the same time, when I have like multiple world champions be like, bro, like that was.
I feel like the whole MMA community would substantially all agree.
That it was cool. I did like it's funny to have people who are like, I hate you, I bet against you, but I thought you won. Like
that's awesome.
I'm like,
that's
thanks,
awesome,
bro. So I've had some people reach out like, I hate you, I bet against you, but I really thought you won that. I'm like, that means something.
That's awesome.
That's always weird messages to get when people are like, hey, I'm betting like a bunch of money on you, dog. Don't lose.
I've been there, bro. When I first got in the UFC, how much pressure, bro. I had guys from like Tajikistan and like crazy countries saying they're betting their whole life savings on me. I better win.
Let me tell you this. I had a guy from some random like Eastern European Soviet country in a mountain. He's like, hey, I bet against you and I lost my money. Like, can you please like pay me back because like my family's gonna be homeless. I'm like, you bet against me. I'm like, what? It's not even like you bet on me and I lost. You bet against me. And then he's like, this went on for months. He's just like hounding me. I'm like, bro, are you serious? Like,
people are wild.
Like, bro, absolutely wild.
Like, they think that they have some kind of nerve to be able to contact you and ask for
money. But it's not even... It's not even like you messaged me like I bet on you, I lost my life savings. Maybe I feel bad. Like fuck, bro, I'm sorry. He's like, I bet against you. You exceeded expectations.
And you fucked up.
And you won.
Yeah, I always do love that people are like, oh, you know, I lost $5,000 betting on you. I lost a lot more than $5,000, bro. Like I lost a lot. I love that. You lose. People are like, I lost $1,000 parlay. Like, do you know how much money I just lost?
The answer usually for me is always, I didn't tell you to bet, dog.
Bro, you know? I always tell people, like, I lost a lot more, I promise. Like, I promise you, like, when I get half a check, I lost a lot more than your $5,000 parlay.
Bro, they're sitting on a couch. Like,
I hate that part. I wish they would just give us, like, bam.
I don't know why we don't get...
Especially like, as entertainers, right?
It's weird. And only in MMA. And boxing is like, yo, that's
your
fixed
purse.
Oh,
this is your purse, sign the dot. You know, like,
it's so weird. I think, like, it would...
It does motivate you to fucking go out there and fuck shit up.
Well, here's the thing. Like when you're getting half your check, you're motivated to win. you're not motivated to perform or fight. Like you're like, I need to make sure I win or I get paid half. If you pay
that
me,
actually makes you less,
A
safer.
lot of guys are safer. Like you see guys
Wrestlers
you see guys like, oh, whatever, because I just need to get my check. But if you're like, hey, everyone gets paid, go out there and perform.
And we're fun.
Like, so I think that hurts the sport. One of the big things that hurts it, and I think another big thing that hurts it is I fucking blame this on boxing too. The current age of like boxing, which bled over to MMA, is the undefeated culture. The undefeated culture is one of the worst things in like fight sports. Yeah. Like, oh my god! Like back in the day, like look at old school boxing, even old school MMA. Everyone had losses because you were just going out there and just like fighting. Like
you're fighting the best of the best because there wasn't a massive pool of talent.
Well, the all-time greats in like boxing, you guys had like hundreds of fights. Like people were losing fights. Like it happens. But no one look at Muay Thai. Like some of the all-time greats have like double-digit losses. 40, It was like whatever, it happens.
They have 300 wins.
It happens.
Exactly. Like 200 wins with like 14 losses.
The one thing, sorry for interrupting, but the one thing that I've noticed now, and I'm sure you guys, because you have more experience, both of you, than I do, and for me, it's like win, lose, draw, whatever the experience, it's just experience. And like you could literally lose 10 fights in a row and then win 20 fights in a row, and you're just a completely different person, completely fighter.
Dude, Dan Strauss went from losing. I came up with Dan Strauss, same gym. He went from losing his first 3 pro fights. He lost to Jay Ellis. I was like, Jesus Christ. Lost to Jay Ellis.
That's bad.
Dan Strauss went on to become like a Bellator champion, and like just dude was like good. Yeah, he's so good. So like, it doesn't. You learn from losses as well. It's a thing. But like this mentality currently is like you've got to be undefeated. I'm like, bro, like what?
Yeah.
And now the thing is too, like once we have this culture of like you got to be undefeated, what do? People start protecting. You lose the best fights now. Everybody wants to protect their
exactly.
Like if I get a loss, I'm less valuable. Like no, like so. Now you have a guy, say he's 6-0, takes a loss. He's less valuable. He's done. I'm like, bro, so you're gonna write off a guy's entertainment factor and his ability because he has a loss? Like this undefeated culture is like it's honestly Floyd's fault. Like Floyd did this,
and it affects the pay.
Yeah. So now we're not being paid as entertainers. We're being paid for what your record is.
Yeah.
And it's that's rough.
I feel at least in MMA, because I mean boxing for sure. Like the biggest fights, these guys don't get them until they're 23-0, 19-0, 20-0. But in MMA, you can get them usually 5, 6-0, and then it's like once you're at that stage, you're starting to fight like legit motherfuckers.
It used to be.
Not
so
anymore.
I don't think it is, and I think the UFC kind of is responsible for that. To where when I started this, when I first started this, I would never fathom seeing a 6-0 guy in the UFC. Like absolutely not. It would never cross my mind.
Enough experience.
Like I wouldn't even entertain the idea of like the UFC at like 6-0. Like no. Like what have you done?
Yeah.
I know.
Who have you fought?
I know. I know guys who were like 20-0 who was like fought nobodies. Like that's not like but like whatever. But at 6-0, who are you? Like how are you in the UFC? But I think Contenders kind of makes that issue to where you get guys who have come in, like prospects, who haven't really fought anybody. Like there's very, 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 very few 5-0 fighters out there who fought good people.
Yeah.
That's not the goal.
The first like 3 guys they fight are like
the first 5 guys you fight
records.
The first 5 guys you fight usually suck because you're trying to like
guys get your feet wet.
Well, you want to get to that 5-0 to have padding for when you fight people when you take a loss. Take a loss at 7-0, now you're 7-1. That's still fine. Yeah. Take a loss at 2-0, now you're 2-1. It's a little bit less fine. Yeah. Sure. So, but like I think Contenders kind of created that monster to where you got guys who maybe never fought anybody getting into the UFC.
Well, they got a great system because they get you in on a very cheap contract, and then if you work out, great. If you don't.
Yeah, and like I hate that system though because I think there are some guys who could be talented.
It cheapens the quality of the fighter.
It brings down the quality.
Yeah.
But I think also at the same time, you can get some guys who are good, who aren't ready, but have potential, and you chew them up. Like you get a 5-0 guy who's got potential.
Their confidence.
He's got, and guys, people don't understand. Like once you get your ass whooped in a fight, it hurts your confidence. Like some people don't recover from that. So say you're 5-0, you get in the UFC and you start getting stomped. You're like, what the fuck happened? Like, what am I doing wrong? That'll break you. And I think Contenders makes a meat grinder for people. And like, I hate. I understand the why, but I think like there's a lot of people who are getting signed who shouldn't be there, but you got a lot of good guys who just get grinded through because they didn't get a chance to like. That's what your first 10 fights are for. Mm-hmm. Your first 10 fights, you shouldn't even think about UFC because it gives you a chance to like get your padding, get your feet wet, and then start getting experience. Mm-hmm. So fights 1 through 5, I don't care about. So that's getting your feet wet. That's you're learning 5 minutes, whatever. You know, but after that, we always say from like I think 15 fights is probably like the ideal number. So 1 through 5, I don't care. The next 10 fights, you need to go 7-3. 7-3. Once you get to that, if you can go 7-3 after those next 10, I think you're at that level. Like that's the baseline 7-3. Mm-hmm. Anything under that, you're probably not ready yet.
Yeah.
And like, but people get we put you in at 5, like 5 fights, and like you're not bad. Maybe a lot of like some guys do suck, but a lot of guys I've trained with, you're not bad. You're just not ready. Mm-hmm. And like you can make the best fucking dish in the world, but if you take it out before it's ready, the preparation means nothing. It's not finished. So you got to let it cook. And I think contenders kind of like choose guys up. I think it's choose a lot of guys up, man. It's sad.
For sure. But that's the fight sport because at the end of the day, they've always got to put people out there to compete, and we're replaceable.
That's the worst part is like, man, we're so replaceable.
But there's some fighters that know it. I remember seeing at UFC 300, Bo Nickel even said himself, he's like, look, I just want to fucking build my shit up. He says it himself, like he wants to build himself to have more fights before they throw him in there with. So he's like, he's trying to tell people like, yo, chill out. I'm just trying to slow poke this shit.
And I get that.
Collect those easy wins.
I get that, but Bo Nickel's kind of he's kind of a hypocrite on that though. He'll talk about like, I'm not gonna be on the undercard. You put me in the undercard, I quit. Blah blah blah.
He's making it out like because he's kind of like an influencer, right?
He's a dude. People, it's funny. People are always like, "Oh, would you fight Bo Nickals?" I would break Bo Nickals' neck. Like, understand that, like, you're a great wrestler, cool, but this is fighting.
It's
like,
not worked out so well for him in terms of, like, when he does wrestle guys. So far, he's fought nobodies, but he hasn't been super successful.
Because like it's you can't just wrestle in MMA.
Like remember when Chimaev came on the scene and he was literally ragdolling people? I expected kind of that from Bo.
Well, because Chimaev wrestles more like a fighter than
aggressive.
It's like
he wants to hurt you. Like, bro, he wants to fuck
when I was young, like when I was younger in this, like you could like the wrestlers were like the king of the fucking mountain right there, because that straight wrestling like people didn't have the answer for. It's funny now to like, you've been around, like I've been around for a while, seeing like 15 years later how now pure wrestling doesn't have a place. Like
everybody knows how to sprawl.
The game has evolved in these last like 10, 15 years to where like now, like guys, it's people come in. I've seen like pure, like we got guys in the gym now who are all Americans. You come in, they just get like, I'm like, bro, like you can't just double like a guy anymore. I'm not care. Like even the most basic guys, like I know how to wrestle at a level to like I'm not defenseless.
You got to know how to strike.
Yeah,
you have to be so well rounded now. Like
wrestling's important, but it's not the cheat code that it was.
No, it's like I remember back, even Khabib, right? It's like everyone's like you wrestle. It's like, well, your fight against Rodolfo Vieira, it's like. He shot how many did you defend? 24 shots. 24, yeah. Imagine a 15-minute fight and you defend 24 takedown attempts.
Yes, that's exhausting.
So exhausting.
It's the most tired I've been in a fight in my entire life. I was like,
that guy is an incredibly strong human being.
Bro, you guys don't understand.
And he's definitely someone who's taken the special stuff at some point.
Rodolfo Vieira is the strongest human being. Like I remember, like he was leaning on me. I was like, oh my god.
It's crazy. That fight was. If you guys haven't seen that fight, watch that fight. It's literally like could write a tutorial on how to defend a grappler, a wrestler.
At one point where he's leaning on me, I just remember like maybe 85's a mistake. We're against the cage. And he's like pressing on me. I'm like, maybe this was a mistake. Like, he was so strong. Like, oh my god.
He looks it.
Nicest dude ever. But he's the strongest man who's ever lived. It's like Kamzat's super strong.
When your whole life has literally just been squeezing people. It's just those guys just have something different. When they grab you, like
it's just the grappler. Like Kamzat's the same way to where he's just he's just like strong. Like I'm just like, why are you so strong?
Yeah, he just gets his arms around you. And
the thing is, like, if we go do like an arm wrestling, I think I'd be fine. But like when he decides, like I realize it Kamzat, when he pulls you to him, it is a problem. Like he doesn't feel like super like he hits fine, whatever. But once he pulls you, like he closes his hands and he pulls you to him, he doubles his strength. And you're like, where are you? Like, what the hell did you just do? Like, oh my God, even he threw me once. I'm like, what the fuck, bro? Like, it's fine. He connected his hands. Like, once he gets like hands to chest, he's so strong. Like, it's insane.
Yeah, there's just some people on this planet that just have freak strength.
That's why you shoot them.
That's why you shoot.
Yeah, you shoot them. Like, yeah.
Flying knees.
Yeah, just shoot them. Like, yeah, like one in the leg. Like, now you're not so strong. Like, yeah.
Hell yeah, but that was a fucking nice in-depth episode.
Fuck yeah,
with the homie, and
we just like circled around, like just like kind of back and forth.
It was perfect. It was perfect. It was a pleasure having you. You were actually our first official fighter.
Let's fucking go. All right.
So hopefully
you guys get strippers on here.
I mean, not yet.
I was gonna say
we can have a super party.
Dude, that's what you do.
We get some more microphones.
But no, hopefully this isn't the last time we have you on.
No, dude, I loved it, man. I appreciate you guys having me. Like, seriously,
it was awesome.
It's nice to leave my house.
If for sure, come kick it by the pool.
Yeah, right.
If you need, come.
Yeah, I haven't not left my house. It's nice to leave my house finally. Like, all right.
But if you want to plug your socials, let everybody know where they can find you.
No, don't look for me. I'm fine. I'm totally fine. Don't look for me.
Just a quick shout out to the supplements. You guys already know, the best in the business.
Monster Energy. Over here. Shout out,
homie. Monster, sponsor me.
Yeah. Coming soon. Appreciate you guys for tuning in. It was an awesome episode. Like we said, we're trying to roll them out. D-Rod and I are heading out to California next week to film a podcast in LA, which will be another cool experience.
Yeah, I'll be in Hawaii this weekend though.
He's heading out to Hawaii. That'll be
going with my cousin and shit. We're doing that Stairway to Heaven.
The hike.
That hike in Oahu.
Yeah, I went to Hawaii in December. It was cool, so I'm excited to hear how you find it. Hopefully the weather's dope, because when I went it was fucking raining the whole time. So that sucked.
We're gonna go on a fucking little adventure.
Hell yeah.
So
it's gonna be cool. Thanks you guys for tuning in. See you guys next time. Peace.